Good afternoon, it's JB from the Ignite Your Purpose podcast. Each and every day, doing our thing, transatlantic, international styling. Now, Max has tried adding me on twice so far today. It keeps bouncing us off, so third time lucky. Otherwise, we may have to use another. Here he comes. Here he is. Max will give you the short version of what's going on in Canmore and Banff today. I think he's got an event on, which he's being the gopher boy
Yes.
in a shirt and tie. Lots of big wigs, lots of high-profile people there, but ultimately Max is there to learn some new skills for video, audio, that kind of thing. So tell us all about it, my friend.
Just a gopher boy, baby. Yeah, my man's doing all the back shoot and video for this International Film Fest. So I'm there to shake babies, kiss hands, or how's that go? Hand out, the music portfolio, tell them about Ignite Your Purpose. There'll be Facebook people there, Netflix, Twitter, all that jazz. So I'm just there to learn, brother. Humble and learning. So yesterday, a good friend of mine shows me out. We get busy in our lives, so we don't have time to talk all the time. He says, man, you want to go for a drink? I said, brother, I don't drink. Let's go for a tea. We went for a tea. You know how we do, John. Stay healthy, baby. Keep good. And he says to me when we get there, he kind of wanted to vent about relationships a little bit. And he was telling me catchphrases that I remember anyway were things like, it's not like the movies. It's not like Hollywood movies. You and I could probably agree with that, John. He was saying things like, it is about slamming doors, being upset with each other, fighting, not seeing eye to eye, and trying to grow, and not talking for a couple days. Some of these catchphrases I did agree with, some of those I didn't. So I thought, why not open up with me and you? Because we've all been in shitty relationships.
Yeah,
I think you and I
good
are
and
blessed.
bad.
Yeah, I think you and I are blessed to be in some amazing relationships. And in my mindset, I was like, dude, if we've ever been in a spat in the last 10 years for more than 2 minutes, I would be surprised. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to kind of, whatever works for whoever, that's great. But I've been in shitty, I've been in great, and I know that there's a lot to discuss there. So I thought, let's talk about this, John.
Yeah, interesting. What's interesting is it sounds like your friend, your buddy, he's not accepted that that's how it is. That's just his picture of the world is relationships are fucking miserable. We get together, we make love, we make babies, and then we're miserable for the rest of our lives, which is that's his perspective. That's maybe his belief system.
Yeah, that's one way to go.
But it's not necessarily a function or a healthy situation to be in. I didn't know you and Sheena were 10 years.
Congratulations,
guys. So
we're way longer than that, brother. Way longer than that.
Oh, are you? Right. Wow. Okay.
But I'm just saying, in the last 10 years, I doubt there's been,
Yeah, I agree. Emma and I are 6 years, and hardly a foul word or a raised voice. Occasionally it happens.
Of course, again.
My perspective on this is, it's interesting because I was thinking yesterday after we'd finished our convo that we don't want to box ourselves off into any one particular subject, but we've not spoken about relationships at all. We've got our bromance going on, which I'm loving, but it's I suppose it's the difficult part is the relationships that we can talk about are those that are closest to us, but then we also have a personal life of which the other person may not be keen for us to share too much. So I'm going to talk about an old relationship who, a girl I've not seen for a long time now, probably 10 or 12 years. We met through my sister. She took me to a party where there were 3 girls, and I hooked up with not the one of the 2 she was aiming for. I ended up with Catherine, and we hit it off. I was in the army at the time, and she'd come across to see me, and I'd come back to the island to see her, and we had a great time. It rolled on. I left the military. We moved in together. We bought a house, and there was just this general chipping away of the fun that we used to have. We forgot to have fun with each other, and we were living effectively miserably together, and just accepting that that is how it was. At that time, it was all about we were headstrong. We both believed in putting in the hard work and grafting, and actually, if you put enough work in, you can solve these differences. But what we didn't ever do was talk about what those differences and what those challenges might be. And it came to a head on my birthday. We were walking back from a bar, and I just said to myself, enough is enough. We are making each other miserable. And, you know, it was really hard, really tough. Bought a house, you know, forever and ever and ever, amen, it was supposed to be. But ultimately, I think it was the greatest decision I've ever made, is to do that, the hard thing. The fear of going back on my own, being single, having left the military, one family, maybe the home setup was the next family, and so that was one incident. But now I'm in a relationship where I think from day one we've spoken about the tiny things, the little things,
there you go,
the things that bug us, the things that irritate us, so that we know they're there, and then we can change our behavior around those people. Life is not about completely compromising in every area, but if you care about a person, you want to do the right thing. And I don't think my personality's changed. I've not become a different person. I've probably actually gone back to being the better version of myself because of Emma, because she's my best friend, and all the rest, all those superlatives, you know. She completes me, Jerry Maguire. I'm going to throw it back to you. We're just chatting today. I think I'm not really sure I've given anybody any takeaways, but
I think there's a lot of takeaways there. I would agree with you. I think in human relationships, whether it's me and you, you can't always agree. There's going to be conflict. But for me, and I'm going back to past and also present, there has to be some type of respect, right? If it's your best friend or yourself or someone else, you have to respect each other, right? So if there is no respect, if you're not built on, you know, and having those conversations, like I said at the start, again, it goes back to self-awareness. You got to know what you want, where you're going. I think a lot of us probably tire kick more for buying, you know, purchases like a car or a stove than we do thinking about who we want to grow old with.
Yeah.
And you know, those little things, like to be mad for a couple days at somebody boggled my mind, because I live, and I tell you this all the time, and anybody watching, I live with the thought of, what if I died tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know, if I could say the things I had wanted to say, or you bit your tongue just because you wanted to be right, man, and your ego got in the way, or whatever the situation is, or, you know, she said this or he said that. Dude, life is too short. And it's also too short to waste time with someone that isn't the right one. So a lot of that comes to self-awareness and all that. But the conversation I had with him, I felt for him. And for some people that might work. You know, fights here and there might work, and it might be better. You may have the greatest sex and all that jazz. So if it works for you, great. I'm just, in my mind, when he was speaking, I was just like, yeah, before and now, there is no comparison, and I wouldn't want anything else but the best for everybody in the situation, right? I want the best for her, and I want the best for myself, so we grow together.
And was he calling for? Was he just sounding off and whinging, or was he calling for advice? Did you give him any takeaways, like recognizing the scenario and the taking responsibility for the situation, and then choosing wanting to do something or not? Because if you do, you do something. If you don't, you just got to shut up and stop whinging and moaning and accept it and make the most out of it. But was there any sort of guidance there?
There wasn't. He said a lot of things to me, like, you know, our lifestyle is because I don't have kids, and things I wouldn't understand it. And fair enough. He has a point there. Having said that, our life philosophies are completely different. I take care of myself, and I put myself first, and he doesn't believe in any of that. So I just let him vent and protected myself from his energy. But it's his learning lesson, and I can't preach anything to him because he's not ready to learn. You know, what do they say? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's where he's at. That's his lesson, and I wish him well.
Well, I've had a thought pop into my mind, and it's very interesting to hear that people say, well, it is like this because of the children. You wouldn't understand because I've got a family. But also, if he's aware enough to that, to understand that his scenario is because of the family, does he not also have a responsibility to create that environment to be as good and as healthy as possible for those children that are causing the problem?
Yeah.
So,
but my philosophy on that is it starts with you first, right? So if you're not taking care of your mental, physical, and spiritual health, how the fuck are you gonna help somebody else, really, right? So that's where we get into a whole other discussion. But I just want to talk about, there is whatever works for you, and I'm not here to preach. I'm not sitting on a soapbox, but I'm just saying there is so much better. Because I've been in shitty relationships, and I'm in an amazing relationship now. So it is what it is, and I thought we should just kind of chat about that.
Yeah, and so talking about that relationship, she's watching him right now. So good morning, Sheena.
Oh, what's up, beautiful?
Hey.
Okay, my brother, I gotta run. I'm going. I gotta get to work at like 7 a.m. It's ridiculous. I don't even do this for myself.
Yeah, me too.
So.
I'm off to the airport to pick up the love of my life. So,
beautiful people, we thank you. We know
day.
You could be anywhere in the world, and you're right here with us, and we appreciate. Talk to you soon. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Bye.